Okay, it's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. I'm joined by Chris, Real Ale 140, and we've just been singing Let It Go.
Yeah. Why not?
Why not? This is Salopian Brewery's Sentinel, 8.4% ABV.
It's a big boy.
Big boy. It's brewed in collaboration with the Celtic Experience Brewery in Caerphilly, Wales. Salopian are an English brewery, but they're kind of on the Welsh border.
Don't try and lay claim to them. They're English.
Yeah, they're English.
Let's be straight down the line.
There's a straight down the line, yeah. There is a border.
Border, no border. They're English.
Yeah.
Celtic Brewery are Welsh, sort of, because they're an Englishman, but let's not go there.
So an English-Welsh collaboration. So let's get this beer.
It's about 2/3 English, I'd say.
2/3 English, yeah. With Tom Newman being English himself. Okay.
But he does speak Welsh, to be fair to him. Yeah.
That again, that slight
little puff on the bottle.
Yeah, that puff on the bottle. Let's
That's
get
okay.
it out. Was this? I can't remember if this was your glass or not. Or was it mine?
No, that one's yours. I will nudge some of this out this way.
Oh, that's good. 8.4%. Not sure on the style. I've not read the bottle. These beers literally came this morning, so they've been on the postman's truck all morning. So if it's slightly hazy and washed up, then it's a case of us not having time to leave it on the sideboard for 24 hours.
What Salopian don't do is they don't give away a style on their labelling. They give you what that beer is from the name. So we just drank the, what was it? It was the Kinetic.
Yeah. Just reviewed the Kinetic.
I don't know, maybe it kind of gave you a cue. It's a big swing of flavour and stuff like that.
Yeah.
This one's called Sentinel.
Well, what does that mean?
It's kind of all-knowing, isn't it? This beer is all-knowing. I know.
Maybe it is.
Maybe it is. Maybe it'll give us some secret knowledge after we drunk it.
I like the little bubbles chasing the head of the glass. I like the head. It's got nice glazing. Lacing. It's slightly hazy, but as we mentioned, the beer's been on a postman's truck all morning.
It's a little bit orangey, you know, but that's okay.
Yeah.
You expect a hop haze. Normally Salopian quite heavy on the hops.
Yeah.
And Tom has been, from Calgary, is getting heavier over time.
He's beginning to stick some real big loads of hops in his beer.
And actually, what Tom's doing is some great stuff with yeast. So if you've tried any of his, the cat scratch and the the kind of special end, what were they called? The range, the shapeshifters.
Shapeshifters, yeah.
So he's done some really interesting stuff there. You should check that out if you see it anywhere.
Yeah. Let's dive in, Chris. Well, we'll get into that in a moment. Let's give the aroma a go. It's a dry. It smells very dry to me. You know, like a dry white wine.
Yeah.
Of course, it's not a white wine, but when I smell a dry white wine, I can smell that dryness, and I get this in this beer. It smells very dry.
A little bit earthy.
A little bit earthy. Maybe some English hops being used in this beer, but then again, there's a little bit of grapefruit. You can almost smell that bitterness. I'm gonna dive in.
Well, there's not much I can say much more than that.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just need to get into it.
Yeah, sometimes you just need to taste it. Let your tongue do the talking.
Heavy.
It's heavy, it's malty. I think, as we just mentioned just now, we just reviewed the Kinetic. I think that's a very, very highly hopped beer. I think what we should do, just quickly, just give this a couple of tastes, just to kind of clean.
We did bang down a few quite salty olives in between, just to kind of
just to try and clean our palates a bit.
Back to normal. What's it giving you?
It's heavy. It's going to be heavy. It's
8.4%.
It's 8.4% ABV, so there's going to be a lot of malt in this beer.
Yeah.
You get that. It's an abundance of sweetness up front.
Well, I think the difference is between this and the Kinetic is they've not balanced the and balance is very something, a word you heard me use a lot. It's something you kind of aim for in a beer, I think. This isn't given that balance. It's tipped towards the malt rather than the hops, and I don't think the hops have kind of covered off enough of the malty flavour. So it's almost like the flavour of a brown beer, but drowning with hops behind it. I don't know. I can't place it well enough. Pardon me.
We basically, up until the last few years, it's been just a case of drinking a beer and understanding that when you go higher with the ABV, it becomes sweeter. And it's only the last 6 months when myself and Chris have started home brewing. We kind of understand it a little bit more now. To get this beer at 8.4% ABV,
you have to push the extra malt in.
Yeah, there's a lot more malt, there's a lot more sugars that needs to be extracted from the beer. For me, it's quite sweet, and then you've got an onrush of hops on the back end.
Yeah.
It's not bad. Again, as we mentioned in the Kinetic review, I would not say this an 8.4% ABV beer.
No, it would be very easy. I mean, you think this is actually stronger than strong. Yeah.
It's them strong ales from people like Fuller's and stuff. They
well, even that awful stuff stronger. Whatever it's called. Special brew.
Special brew, yeah.
This is stronger than special brew.
This is stronger than special brew, and you wouldn't believe that you were drinking something as strong as that. It's
quite nuanced for something that ABV.
Yeah.
It's not quite in the barley wine category, but
no.
I know more so than the Kinetic. There's the hit of the ABV. Yeah, you wouldn't know it was 8.4, but you might guess it was over 6.
Yes. Very good point. Very good point.
I can't honestly say that this is something that I would order again had I ordered it at a bar. Because you'd have a half of this at this ABV. You'd have a half at the bar.
It's a night finisher. You've got all them optics in the bar ahead of you, and you're thinking, shall I have a whiskey? Shall I have a rum? Or shall I just have a half of this 8.4% Sentinel?
Yeah,
I think it gives you that option.
And this is closer to, this is exactly where it fits.
Yeah.
You can choose. You can say, will I have a pirate or will I have something along those lines?
Yeah.
You know, like a big Belgian kind of beefy beer. Or will I have something homegrown and go with something sweet and malty and doze myself off with this. It's not one that you're going to pick out to session of your evening. But it is one that you might pick out to say, alright, we'll go to bed after this. Maybe have it off. I don't know.
So sometimes
not you and me.
Yeah, but no. Obviously, there's no chairs anywhere in this kitchen.
We haven't put any chairs up. Just the oven.
Chris has set my cogs going in my mind when he mentioned barley wine. This has got American hops in, and this very, very much reminds me of Sierra Nevada's
Bigfoot.
Bigfoot, that's the one.
Yeah.
It reminds me very much of Bigfoot barley wine. It does. It's got that big malty, chewy boldness, and then it's got that hoppy finish.
A bit like clown shoes as well.
Yeah, a bit like the clown shoes, the big.
It's the Brewdog one, isn't it? The Brewdog?
Yes, the clown king we had from Brewdog. It was a big 10% barley wine. With American hops,
and
just
the Monster as well. Who does that?
Oh, Brooklyn Monster Ale.
Yeah.
I think if I was to as Chris mentioned at the beginning of this review, or it may have been off for review, we may have been talking about it in private. Chris was saying that Salopian don't make a point of categorising whether it's an IPA or whether it's up to you to guess.
Yeah.
Now, if I was to ask you to guess, when we've just mentioned Monster Ale, we've just mentioned the Bigfoot barley wine from Sierra Nevada,
Pirate, and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it does indeed remind me of a hoppy barley wine.
Yeah, and it reminds me a little bit of the triple hopped. What's the Belgian one?
I know.
There's a triple hopped Belgian beer. I can't remember.
We've drunk so much beer. We can't be expected to remember them all.
No, no, I don't have that kind of memory.
Yeah,
but it's like a massive Belgian beer. It's like a bit like a barley wine. It's somewhere in between those two things. There's a place for it. It's ending your night. It's an end of a session beer. Yeah. It's not a beginning of a session. It's not mid-session. It's the end. This is the end.
Or maybe in rage, you've thrown your console controller at 9 o'clock at night
at your wife.
At your wife.
You bloody play Call of Duty.
Yeah, it's your fault, you know, when you're in that rage. You've passed that stage where at 7 o'clock you would start the session of beer or beers after you put the kids to bed. It's now 9 o'clock. It's that time of night where you've passed the time by. You've got a chance to drink one beer before you go to bed, before you got work in the morning. This might be it.
Yeah.
This might be just the one beer that you
send
choose.
you to bed, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the beer that sends you to bed. Perfect naming for this beer. Rating, Chris, how would you rate this?
Does it know all? Is it Sentinel? No. It's a solid 7 out of 10 beer for me.
Yeah.
It's got its place. It's a nice, actually. It's quite nice that it's like a barley wine, but weaker than the barley wine because it's not going to give you the hangover in the morning.
Yeah.
And that's a bonus. But yeah, a 7 for me.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Chris. We're very close with our ratings. It's not often that we kind of go very varied in rating scale, so I'm going to go 7 out of 10. I think 7 out of 10 is very, very close for this beer. Thanks for joining me. Real Edit 140, check him out on all our social media sites. Put your comments in the comments box. Please subscribe to our daily beer reviews, and cheers.